Hey everybody, I wanted to say a few things about music and AI. It is October 2025. We don't really know what's going to happen with AI just yet. It seems like nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen in music specifically with AI. We can only imagine, and when you imagine and you let your imagination run wild and anything is possible, that causes a lot of fear and trepidation among artists and musicians, and that's understandable. But the way I'm looking at it is that since we don't know what's happening in the future, we can choose how we view this. We can choose to view it as something that's going to kill us all or something that's going to enable us all to do more and be more productive and do more interesting and creative things. I am cautiously optimistic that it'll be the latter and that we will have, as creative people and as musicians, tools that will help us maximize our creativity and our creative output. That's what I'm hoping for. A very simple example of that is I would love to be able to talk to my notation software. I want to be able to open it up and say, set up a big band chart. Let's make it Green Dolphin Street in the key of C. Start with an 8-bar introduction where the rhythm section plays a vamp on the dominant chord. For the first A, have the trumpets play the melody. In the second A section, have the saxophones take over, have them play it in harmony, say 4-way close. Okay, I want to be able to just do that and then have it go, poof, here it is, and then I can go in and edit. I think that would be a pretty cool thing, and really what I'm describing is probably something that is very basic for a AI to do, right? So that's just like a very small example of what I would like to see happen, because notation softwares are difficult in that there's always some friction, right? There's friction between getting the ideas that are in your head onto the page. So will AI give us tools to remove that friction so that we can focus on being more creative, not just in notation software, but generally? That's my hope. Now, does this mean that some jobs will disappear? Yes. Does it mean that other jobs might be created? Also, yes. The example I think of is the drum machine and virtual instruments. The drum machine did not replace the drummer for good, right? Did it take away some work for drummers? Yes. Do virtual instruments take some work away from real musicians? Yes. Is AI potentially far more far-reaching than that? Yes, potentially. But I kind of say to myself, well, if drum machines and virtual instruments didn't replace live musicians entirely, maybe AI won't either. Because what drum machines and virtual instruments did is, yes, again, took away some work from musicians, but it also allowed someone who's a producer to have this new skill set where they can use that technology that they could then use to be more creative and to service a variety of clients and so on. It also allows a 10-year-old with an iPad to produce a full-blown record in their bedroom because they can lay down drum parts with their notation software or with their DAW software. It allows bands to create mock-ups of songs, or artists or producers to create mock-ups of songs that include drums, and then you can send it to another artist or whoever and have it played by real musicians. So, these technologies, I think by and large, so far have been largely positive, even if some jobs have disappeared as a result. And I just kind of hope that AI is sort of the same, where some things will disappear, but people who know how to leverage the technology will actually do better because they can have more output. So let me give you a little example. I had someone reach out and say, hey, could you produce a couple of tracks for this thing I'm doing? It's very low budget. I need it by this time, blah, blah, blah. And I thought about it, but I wasn't able to make it happen. So I said, let me refer you to somebody. And I saw a little bit of the back and forth in the email there, and I heard a little bit of stuff in person. I'm actually not exactly sure what happened at the end of the day, but I can tell you this. The person that I recommended, right, they included in their email that they're making these custom tracks for them and that they won't use AI. And this person took a little extra pride, it seems, in saying that there's no AI. Or maybe they were making some kind of little statement against AI in music technology. I'm not sure that the client at the end of the day got what they wanted. And I, sometime later in person, overheard them talking to somebody else saying that they explored stuff online to see if there's some AI tool that would let them just churn something out really quickly, because their project, the music wasn't a huge part of this particular project. It was a little side thing, whatever, not a huge deal. My point is, I observed this interaction and I thought, wouldn't it be better if you're the musician or the producer to be able to quote this person half, say, yes, I can do it, get it done in 20 minutes instead of 4 hours. You make the money. You can quickly move on to your next thing. They get what they want. What if AI lets us do that? Wouldn't that be better than having two parties that didn't quite get exactly what they wanted? So I think that is something that I'm hopeful that AI will help us fix. That people will learn how to use it. Musicians will learn how to use it to maximize their output and maybe, I don't know, make even more money. The other thing I'll say about this is I'm really kind of tired of seeing people pile on each other on social media whenever they see an AI-generated image, right? So I see musicians and various kind of social accounts that will post, say, like a show announcement or whatever content, music-related content they're making, and they'll have an AI-generated image. And inevitably, there'll be some people in the comments that pile on them, hey, why are you using this? This is AI slop, blah, blah, blah. In some cases, they're like, I'm unfollowing. In some cases, they're like, this is unethical. They start getting into the you're a bad person territory and all that stuff, which I absolutely loathe. And my view on that is like, look, this person was not going to go hire an artist to make their Instagram post. But because they have this tool, they made a cute little image to include in it. I have a friend who is brewing beer, and he used AI to create these nifty little labels for his beer bottles, just for himself and maybe for his friends, right? He's not selling them. And he was not going to hire an artist to make labels for his home brews. If he didn't have the technology, he would just put masking tape on the bottle and write the name of the beer on it. So I feel like the piling on is unnecessary. I think it's really silly. Like, if you think that AI is going to hurt musicians, why would you then try to hurt those same musicians by saying mean things or unfollowing them or dumping on them on social media? I think that's not very smart, right? And I also think that what we're seeing right now is, people creating videos and graphics and things like that they just wouldn't have if they didn't have those tools. I don't think that we're seeing that replace hiring real artists to do those same things. Now, there is some of that happening for sure. Again, AI can take away certain jobs, create certain jobs. That's not nothing. That's not going to come without a lot of pain for some people, just like is true of any technology. So what I would say is that if you're a musician and you're worried about this stuff, try to stay on top of the technology as much as possible. Try to stay current as to what's coming out, what's happening, and how you can best leverage that technology to serve you, right? There are some things that are in our control. There's some things that are out of our control. Musicians, we didn't come up with file sharing and Napster and iTunes and Spotify and all that stuff. We didn't come up with those things, right? It's not our fault that music files are much smaller than a full-length Hollywood movie, and so they're much more easy to share, things like that. That created this whole thing around piracy way back in the 90s, and so on. So we can't control all that stuff. What we can control is we can control our emotional responses to the things we see that make us afraid, and we can control our ability to learn new technologies as they occur so that we can figure out how to best use them to make us more creative and hopefully more successful. And that's the best we can do. Again, this is October 25. I hope that I am right about all this stuff. I hope that we will see a wave of great new tools that, as a result, unleash a wave of creativity from musicians and authors and artists and all this stuff. I hope I'm right. And I hope that ChatGPT doesn't just pop out of my phone and strangle me later. That's the best I can hope for. So that's my take right now. Have a good one.